Many philosophers have talked about the space between stimulus and action, something happening and what you do about it, being the space where our freedom, where our humanity lies. We're one of the only species that can have something happen to us and then have a thoughtful, deliberate response. And this is really freaking powerful because it's ultimately what allows us to live a life in accordance to our values and not just to go on autopilot and to be whiplashed by life. I think about this as the difference between responding and reacting. So when you react, it is hot, it's emotional, it's rash. You generally regret it. An example of reacting that so many people have had is you have your 5-year-old kid and you're trying to get out the door for school and they start complaining because you tied their shoes when they wanted to. And you're running late for school and you're super stressed and you snap on your kid and you yell. And in the moment, it might even feel kind of good to yell. But the minute you're done, you feel terrible. You regret it. Why? Because you reacted. If you don't have kids, another example is you're at the workplace and maybe it's even in your personal life. You send someone an email and then you're rushing as fast as you can to hit that unsend button because you know that what you sent is not the best portrayal of yourself. Again, what happened? In that instance, you reacted to a situation. Whereas responding is slower, more thoughtful, more deliberate. When you respond to a situation, you very rarely regret it. Often you're proud of yourself. You literally create more space between the stimulus and what you do about it. I have this heuristic, 2 Ps versus 4 Ps. When we react, we go down the road of 2 Ps. We panic and then we pummel ahead. Whereas when we respond, we follow 4 Ps. First, we pause, we gather ourselves, we take a deep breath. Then we process what's happening. We can create some space between ourselves and the situation by asking ourselves, what would I tell a friend who is in this position? What would older me, older, wiser me, looking back on current me, what would I have to say to myself? Psychologists call this self-distancing, and it helps create space during highly charged emotional situations. It helps us process what's happening. The third P is we plan. We take stock of what's in our control and what's out of our control, and then we do everything we can to focus on the former and not worry about the latter. We ask ourselves, have we been in similar situations? What resources do we have? Who can we reach out to for help? All of this is involved in planning. And only then do we proceed. Only then do we move forward. This is what it means to respond instead of react. Again, to summarize real quickly, react, 2 Ps, panic, pummel ahead, we often regret it. Respond, 4 Ps, pause, process, plan, proceed. There's one other important thing that I'd be remiss not to mention. You can do all the self-help and personal development work and you can master this process, but still, if you constantly put yourself in reactionary environments, you are going to be a more reactionary person. If you spend all day on political Twitter arguing with anonymous trolls, and then you expect yourself to suddenly be a super responsive, thoughtful, deliberate person in other areas of your life, that's a fool's errand. You're misguided. So we need to approach this from 2 different angles. First is individually, we do want to pause, process, plan, proceed. We want to respond, not react when challenges come our way. But we also want to do everything possible to put ourselves in environments that make us a more responsive person, that slow things down, that help us create that space between stimulus and response, that make us more thoughtful.